Let's welcome GC to the show, crypto and devil's advocate. Thank you so much for being here, man. And Firestorm has done nothing but sing your praises. This is awesome.
Welcome, GC. How are you, my man?
This is awesome, guys. Thanks for having me, Jimmy, Firestorm. Thanks for hosting. Good vibes.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Thanks for joining. Welcome to the show. I don't even remember. I think this is episode 17. So we finally.
And I may have mislabeled it on Twitch. Forgive me, chat. Forgive me.
Yeah. Which episode? This is 17, right? Or is it not 17?
Is it 17 or 18? I mean, we're getting kind of deep in the game over here, man.
Yeah,
We've kind of been in the CLOB for
17, a while. We're already in double digits, soon to be
man.
triple digits. And, once we reach 100, we'll be like, damn, time flies. But anyways,
listen, guys, I watched a couple of the first ones, and I got to say that production quality has just been increasing over time. So that's good. You guys are doing this stuff.
Thank you. We do keep an eye on that, and I appreciate the feedback. So we are trying to make this the best, just like Dex a lot. We're trying to make this the best user experience possible. You know what I mean? So thank you for saying that. Appreciate the compliment.
So I know GC has a couple of interesting things he's working on, but GC, if you don't mind, I'm going to start with the story of how you and I met, actually, because this type of story doesn't come along frequently. Let's say. You okay with that, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So very early days Avalanche, right? Like around actually right after the ICO that they did. I was one of the few people who were stingy with their ETH, right? Like I had ETH bags at the time, and I actually, yes, I believed in the tech, but I still wanted to keep the ETH, which eventually I parted with. But at the time, I didn't want to use my ETH, and for the ICO, I actually sent money the traditional way originally. And of course, because I didn't do crypto, because when you use traditional banking system, that stuff never goes well. It was very delayed. And there was a period where I had to ask Avalabs and be like, guys, what happened here? I got neither a confirmation nor a denial. Can you guys confirm? There was this one dude in the chat at the time who goes by the name of GC who said, bro, are you new to crypto? Because as you know, like back in 17, 16, 15, during the ICO craze, original ICO craze, you had all the gas wars. People always got left out of the original ICOs because they didn't pay enough gas or they weren't fast enough and blah, blah. And here was another guy trying to pay with, for an investment using like a traditional bank mechanism, which, admittedly GC made fun of, but that's how we met. And I argued the user experience and I said, bro, these guys like had it as an option on the document. And he was like, nope, you should have paid with ETH. And, in the end, everything worked out. But that's kind of how we started. And, surprisingly, normally in crypto, people are not nice when they're correct. And, he was one of the guys who was nice enough that, he wasn't a real troll. He was just saying, bro, you're being stupid. Don't be stupid. And we eventually became friends. And we've been chatting here and there ever since. And, he is one of the people, and there's a reason why we put devil's advocate in there. He's one of the few people out there that I usually ping or call to get an idea broken, right? Like you have an idea, you think it's great, you think you covered all the angles.
Yep.
That's when you call GC, kind of like calling Ghostbusters, and he'll find a way to basically identify problems with it, issues with it, and that's how sort of our relationship grew. And he's the guy that I ask for a complete different perspective, because sometimes it's very difficult to get right. A lot of people are super pro a specific thing, and it is very important when you're building things to get another perspective. And GC is the god of alternative perspectives, let's say. But anyways, welcome to the show, man. That's my
thank you.
Yeah, that's quite an intro.
It's a good summary, and just to turn the knife in that wound, from my perspective, I think I planned for a few days before that ICO. I was thinking about all the possible ways in which it could fail, and I had meetings I had to cancel to try to be there, and they ended up being oversubscribed, so they delayed it for an extra week, right? Because everyone wanted to get in. Yep. It's the kind of stuff that you need to really be quick. You need to act fast. You have your MetaMask ready. you're ready to bump the gas price as fast as you can, right? You have your thing copy to the clipboard so you can copy paste your address really quickly, right? You have the ether scan on the side to try to see, okay, how far in that ICO are we right now? Like, are they still accepting money, right? And I was thinking, man, if I'm like maybe 30 seconds too late, maybe I'll miss the block in which everything's gonna fill up. And then you have this guy thinking, maybe I can wire transfer. It's gonna take 7 days. I might be able to get in. So yeah, that's how the conversation started.
Yeah, I was counting on the fact that it was a bear market, to be honest with you. Again, I was quite stingy with my ETH because look, don't get me wrong, the tech, where we all know that the tech is amazing. I was actually very aggressively testing, working on nodes, talking to the dev team at the time, and I knew it was going to work and I knew it was going to grow. But still, I figured, hey, there's going to be a few hours, get the wire out, pressure the bank, and once the bank sends it, I figured, it would work out. Again, I was a bit stingy with my ETH. I didn't want to touch those bags because I've been holding on to them for a long time as well. But look, in the end, it worked out, and it sort of gave way to a friendship, which I'm quite fond of. So, good story, man. I'm sure I'll remember this one forever. So what's your so let's start with our classic, man. Why don't you give us a little bit about how you sort of got into crypto? Like, what was your journey like? And that's usually the most interesting to the people who are listening. And then we'll talk about whatever else you would like to talk about.
Yeah, sure, man. I don't exactly remember precisely when I started getting interested in crypto. I think in 2013, I downloaded a Bitcoin miner or wallet thing, and I didn't have much time that day, and I looked into it, and it wasn't really working well on my laptop. On my laptop, so I just kind of disregarded it. But I know that at that point I had a good sense of at least what Bitcoin was trying to be, and I kept reading up on it. But I was never really a money guy. So in the sense of a crypto for the monetary use case. So that didn't really stick with me until I think on Reddit, I saw an article for the Ethereum ICO and how they raised something like, I think it was $18 million at the time from their ICO. And I just started joining their subreddits. And I stay up to date on there for, once every week. I go through the subreddits and try to learn about what it was until I started getting more involved, like almost a year later after it launched. So in early 2016, I'd say, is when I first started investing. And as you know, once you start putting money towards this stuff, you just kind of get sucked into a hole, and you start digging and learning about everything. So that's where it started for me. Back then, I was also playing poker, and in 2011, I don't know if you're aware of the poker scene, but they banned poker online in the US. And there was a bit of a conversation there where, one of the reasons why they banned it was it wasn't regulated. There was a full tilt issue where full tilt didn't really have the money for all the players, right?
I remember those days. I was playing, as funny as it sounds. I didn't know you played poker. The things I learned.
There's a big overlap between the poker and crypto. It might be the gambling aspect.
Wait a second, you guys like poker?
Yeah,
me too.
Used to like.
Let's do a little poker stream.
Definitely. My apologies. Continue.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, so there was an argument there for decentralized poker, potentially lower rate, and you could have people are in control of their own assets. And then you think, okay, well, why the smart contract? Well, the smart contract, maybe you can verify that you're getting your aces, something like once every 200 hands, I think. So it's verifiably fair, and that was kind of like the first thing that clicked for me. And then further down the line, read more about that stuff, and you realize that okay, it's not really well suited for poker because of collusion and bots and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I looked into that. I looked at the different charts, and early on, you could see, you've heard the SBF story, but you could see a lot of discrepancies between different exchanges for different prices for crypto assets. So I started seeing a couple of opportunities there. So I did a bit of coding to automate some of those trades there. So arbitrage, I guess, back then. And you didn't really have to know all that much to get decent gains. I didn't go all in like SBF and like move to another country and open a bank in Japan. So it didn't last all that long that you could actually get good opportunities there. But I moved on to other things. I started learning a bit more about Steam it back then, which is like a Reddit incentivized Reddit thing, which it was from the it turned into EOS down the line. That the same guys made EOS, but early on, it was a blogging platform, and some people were just posting things and getting paid for it. I thought it was interesting, but to me, what I found was even cooler was the incentivization mechanism behind it. So the game theory behind this whole system, it had like 3 different tokens and the economics. And I had have a background in math and physics, and I did a bit of game theory also during that time. There's a course actually where I went universities called Poker 101. So we cover a bunch of game theory stuff. So that was all at the same time, and I made a couple of bots that would try to find good content on that platform, and there was an incentive if you upvoted and found good content, you get paid a bit. So I had a pretty good bot back then. I think it was like the best ROI on the capital that was staked for at least a couple of months. So yeah, that's how it started, and I just started looking at a bunch of different opportunities and how I could automate things in the space. Later on, 2017, it became much more competitive. So those weren't as obvious as they were before. So it kind of took a seat back.
You were doing MEV stuff before MEV was popular, right?
Yeah, back on Ether Delta. I don't know if you remember Ether Delta. It was a CLOB on the blockchain.
Hell so yeah!
First, it didn't work nearly as well as Dexalot. Got to tell you that much. But talking about those like MEV, I screwed up one time and I put in. I was trying to act quickly and I put in volume instead of price. And you only make that mistake once.
One time. I know how those go.
I think that was 7.
Proper protection, right?
Sorry?
CLOBs back then, especially in Ethereum, were designed for just execution. They didn't really have controls and they didn't have user protections, which it's part of our roadmap to build stuff like that would prevent people from making mistakes like that.
Right.
Yeah, no, for sure. And as soon as you send it, there's no way you can cancel it because there's already a bot that looks into those, right? So that was another one back then.
And at which point did you friendly school Firestorm? Where is that placed in this timeline?
That would have been so 2020.
That's pre-IC. So that's like
it's like 2-3
Avalab
years.
was 10
Okay.
people.
All right.
Avalabs was 10 people.
Yep.
Mostly development teams, and we had a friendly Discord, and it was all in the Avalabs Discord actually.
I love friendly Discords. That's such a rare thing. Shout out to friendly Discords. We have a nice friendly Discord too. If you're not part of the Dexalot Discord, friendly Discord, man, go check it out. Shout out to Zane, Boogie, all our community guys, always killing it, man. Brad, you guys kill it. Anyways, beside the point. My apologies, fellas.
No problem. We have so many Discords now. That's also something that blew up.
I gotta give the plug. You know what I mean? I gotta plug the brand. The brand
for sure.
Strong, so.
For sure.
You know how it goes.
Yeah. There's only so many good ones that you need to keep a track of. But every other week you gotta clean up all the Discords you join that end up dying. But the good ones you keep and you pin somewhere.
Right. Absolutely, man.
But yeah, man. So over the years, there's been a lot of different opportunities. But I've never really been much of a trader. It's been buy and hold, and
sure.
I thought Avalanche was a good one to look into and get involved. And then I've been, I had other occupations throughout the year, but
Sure.
pretty much always full time, just learning about the space and keeping up.
The other thing that we did kind of together was I was very focused on building Avalanche nodes on different pieces of hardware. Like at one point, I had like a full-fledged A to Z, 0 to 100 tutorial for doing Raspberry Pi 4 nodes. And like,
Nice.
I had a few running, and then GC was also trying to get a node up, but that was fun while it lasted. And that was one of the other things that we kind of did together.
Man, so you guys have been so you guys got some. So you guys, I'm getting like a Obi-Wan Anakin vibe. You know what I mean?
So who turns to the dark side? I don't know, bro.
I don't know. I guess
I think I'm already there.
Yeah, I was gonna say like this guy's already been the Darth Vader by the time I met him. So.
But it's crazy. It's crazy because it feels like such a long time ago, but in real terms, it's
not much, right?
It's like yesterday, right? It's a couple of years. COVID was a couple of years in COVID time, which basically
Sure.
Nothing.
Sure.
It's everything in crypto, but in real life, you kind of realize you've lost a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say from my nerdy perspective, just based on listening to both of your voices, I think that Firestorm would do a better impression of Obi-Wan saying "Hello there." You know what I mean? No offense, GC. I just think you already said you're Darth Vader anyway, so we'll say you're Anakin. Firestorm's Obi-Wan. Firestorm, can we get a hello there?
Well, hello, sir.
No, say hello there.
Hello there.
Perfect. See, that's the thing. So, but it's an honor to have Darth Vader in the chat.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So Darth
He's
Vader,
way cooler anyway.
What your Darth GC is what we should call him.
Darth GC. Darth Vader's actually right above my head. If you look closely enough, he's right next to Optimus Prime.
So I consider myself.
That's what I want to hear.
I try to be as positive as I can. It's just sometimes I think
sometimes you got to use the dark side.
It's just a contrast, It's
sometimes
contrast.
crypto has too much hype and too much optimism. Somebody's got to bring the realism, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I love it.
And that's where GC comes in.
That's
so tell us, man, what are you most interested or excited in nowadays? I know you've been working on a couple of projects also, so would love to hear about those as well.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually in a bit of a transition during the summer. Looking to build a team at the end of the summer and start working more officially on different projects, because I've been advising and consulting for the past few years. We built AVAX Rarity, and we helped a bunch of NFT projects just because I've been buying and playing with NFTs for a long time, and I worked with Rage Pit, which is also really good with backend stuff, and just making sure, seeing all the different projects and making sure the projects that what people are building isn't exploitable, because we've seen so many exploits, and we've highlighted a few things too for different projects in the space. But yeah, I've always been a bit more of a backend guy. I like NFTs, but I'm looking forward to a bit more innovation, and we've seen a lot of PFPs, and if there's a really strong brand around it, I think it makes sense. But I want to see a bit more exploration around there. So I'll be touching probably a bunch of different stuff, but there's a good amount of stuff on my mind right now, so I don't even know.
You're good, man. We love. We're getting the full picture, man. That's why you're here. And this is kind of a stream of consciousness kind of space, so it's all good. You know what I mean? And you are on social media and stuff too, right?
Yeah, though not really. It's more to keep track, and then sometimes I'll post a comment, or I'm on Twitter, and whenever something gets me a bit frustrated, then I might comment.
Sure. That's what Twitter was made for.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm not trying to gain a following or anything. It's just
I get it.
I'm more in the background, and try to build things and make the space grow. But if we think just about NFTs, one thing that I've been hoping more people would build around is kind of like modifiers for NFTs. And there's so much stuff you could do. Like you could have an NFT that looks at the chain itself and displays things about past behaviors. And we've seen a bit of that on the Ethereum side, but really not that much on Avalanche. So you could think of something. Idea. Yeah. So you could think of like accessories, right? So maybe you have a collection of accessories. It's hats, and if you buy the hat, then it looks in your wallet. Do you have a snail from Snail Trail? Do you have an APA or something like that? And if you do, well, it takes that image and adds a hat on top, right? And you have like it modifies other NFTs or it plays with stuff that you have in your wallet. I think it's something that could be cool.
Yes, agree. Production, are you taking notes, John?
Yeah.
Production.
We are definitely. Well, good thing we're recording this. Actually, questions for you, man. So NFTs, I know you've been deep in them. It's one of those things that I personally haven't gone too far down the hole personally. The one thing that I'm struggling with is the art collections that don't really have utility. It's very difficult for me to value in my head, right? I'm the numbers guy that focuses on utility and how the utility actually translates into value for whatever asset I'm looking at. I'd love to hear your perspective on this, number one. And number two, what's your view on gaming and game assets being NFTs? Those are the two things I kind of wanted to get your opinion on. And I'm hoping for something that completely disagrees with my views.
Okay, let me think. So how to value NFTs?
I mean, it's a big problem, right? Like, because if you can value them, that unlocks so many more things. Now, if there is a predictable way, let's say roughly to value a proper NFT, then you can collateralize it. You can do a lot of things with it, and it would unlock a lot more velocity when it comes to trading and people buying and selling it. And the fact that it's so illiquid, the fact that one NFT is significantly potentially different than another, even within the same collection, makes it very difficult for me to value and even understand why people are so bullish on buying them. And now the latest trend is, of course, the free mints, where you have a couple of actors who seem to be minting all of them with the MEV tactics, right? So I'd love to get your opinions on all these things that we're seeing nowadays.
Yeah, I'll try to tackle them in order. I really do think that it's memes all the way down for all assets in life. I think the really serious side, you'll have people thinking, oh no, there's no cash revenue stream for this company, say, and then they'll say a Bitcoin is backed by nothing, or an NFT asset is just an image. It has no intrinsic value. I just don't think anything really has intrinsic value. You might be getting cash from your company, but I don't know, maybe you're selling shoes and you're only getting cash on those shoes because they're popular and there's memes around it and they're trendy. So at the end of the day, it's just what do people want in the moment. And sure, you might be there's this whole thing of having assets that are backed by other assets and consider it to be like a floor. It's not really backed by anything, right? Because that other asset is that other asset backed? Is it isn't it circular a bit? So when it comes to trying to evaluate things, I think the best approach has always been to put it into context relative to other similar assets that have value in the moment, and then maybe project that in the future. So that's a general baseline for when looking at something like Avalanche initially. You think, okay, well, maybe down the line, maybe it's going to be 1/10 of an ether. There's really good upside there, solid team, all that stuff. I won't go into the technicals, but I think that's the best approach there. And then within NFTs, you can do something similar and add on top of that credibility of the team. And is the contract audited? You could look at the contract. Okay, are they doing like basic mistakes? And the minting mechanism is the NFT metadata revealed prior to can you see it on chain prior to people minting it, and can you snipe it? It's crazy to me that that's still a mistake that teams make. And yeah, you can look at rarity there, and then you could
comment on that before we move on. I think the reason why that mistake is made is because those projects that make that mistake are just in it to mint as quickly as possible, make money, and like move on. I think that's the reason, because like, if you're truly trying to build something, you looked into the ways of doing it properly and try to avoid it. And I feel like the projects, especially collection ones, break into two, right? There's the ones that truly want to do something in the future with the project, and then there are the ones that don't want to do it necessarily. That's kind of how I look at those things.
Yeah, I don't think there's a good one and a bad one. I think you just need to be clear about what you're doing. If you just want to be art that's static and it doesn't do anything in the future, and you brand it as such, then there might be a market for it, and that can work, right? You can look at punks. Never really became anything other than just images, and it's similar to digital art, and that's fine. And as soon as you start adding utility to it, then it becomes a completely different beast. And then in terms of people just trying to make a quick buck, I'm not sure if that's been really true. I think there's been a lot of mistakes, even from the big beasts. What do you call them? They call them blue chips, right? So even all the blue chip projects, AVAX Apes, I think, had the wrong images when they launched. I believe APA has had a bit of an issue also in beta 1. So there's just so many things to think about, and if you haven't really been playing with these for a really long time, you're likely to miss some.
Guys, I don't know if you noticed, but I took off my hat, and GC, you wouldn't know this, but just to let our viewer, and maybe our viewers don't know this either, but when the hat comes off, that means it's big brain time. And GC and Firestorm just schooled me. I mean, just listening to that, my brain got bigger, and so my hat gets too tight, and my hair's getting a little long too. I got to go see my barber Joe soon. So thank you for helping grow my brain. Another Firestorm every episode, man. I swear to God, my brain gets bigger. I'm gonna look like that guy from the meme pretty soon.
Bro, we got GC here, man. This is the guy that you gotta learn from, man.
The guy behind the guy.
Yeah, let's go a level deeper then on the valuation of NFTs.
Let's go.
So sure, like you can break it down in terms of rarity, and that's a thing we did at AVAX Rarity. That's actually how we started, right? I minted a bunch of AVAX Apes. And then you quickly look at your stuff, and you're like, okay, well, how's it compare? And RageBit was doing rarity breakdown there, so we started talking. I went back and forth with him. Like, oh, what do you think about this price, that price? And then you could look at you compare it across the board, see recent sales, and you could like chart that out and get statistics out. But in terms of innovating around that, I think we haven't really seen like something that could be interesting is like a futures contract on NFT metrics, right? So prior to launching your contract, your NFT, if you want to have a bit of a price discovery, you could have people bet on the volume it'll reach in the first day, or on the floor, or any metrics that are kind of hard. And you can leverage that after as an indicator for your project. You could hedge using a futures contract, and you could use it for price discovery. You might want to play with your minting price afterwards. So there's a lot of experimentation and tooling that could be developed there. I think it's super interesting.
Definitely.
And why don't we have more time-dependent NFTs? Images that change over time, or yes. I haven't really seen anything that's address-dependent. Right? Maybe when I send you my NFT, because you have a different address, it changes. In terms of tokens, you could I've never seen a token, even like a ERC20 that changes its name. That's something you can do with a contract. Maybe whenever someone sends a token, you can vote on the future name of the project. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like that a lot.
Dude,
actually.
most important question. Listen, actually, I have two questions, but the first one, what did you think of the Snail Trail Mint? Did you see the issues they had, or do you think they never had any issues? I'm just wondering, because in my opinion, the actual mechanism that they did was great, but I would love to get a stamp of approval from GC.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen any issues, but I wasn't following closely, to be honest. I followed all the way until the mint, and then around there, I wasn't on the whitelist at that moment because I didn't do my homework. No, I was too late for the whitelist. So from my point of view, I didn't see anything there, but I can't say for sure.
The only issue that Snail Trail truly ran into was it was sort of a rude awakening. The Amazon WAF, I think WAF service, wasn't adequate, and the web page came under attack on the day of the launch, and they legitimately overwhelmed. They sent like whoever it was, sent like 14 million requests in a short amount of time. And they had to delay and migrate stuff to a different service. But my opinion of the mint itself, both from making sure it's technically sound, the images are there, like the stuff was working properly, plus the whitelist, which allowed a really wide distribution across seemingly unique addresses that are still playing the game, was quite well done. But again, I'm part of the advisory crew there as well. So, but I just wanted to sort of get your opinion on that.
Yeah, so on that point, I think I've been reiterating the same thing. People will complain about bots. There's a reason why bots are there. The bots are there because your item's mispriced. So I think there's a lot of ways around that. But it's a tricky thing because you don't know in advance. Okay, is there going to be that much demand?
Right.
But bots are trying to get in early because they're trying to flip it. So that means there's that extra margin that you could go get that would go either to your users or to yourself instead of bots. So teams do that to get a bit of the hype and the promotion around it, to say, oh, I sold that really quickly. I think for long-term growth, it's probably safer to have Dutch auction mechanism, or you could be fancy with it, but
discovery.
The futures contract thing could work. You can have rate limits at the contract level, because we have gas prices that change when activity on the network is high. But what about rate limiting at the minting level? So maybe you only allow 1 mint per second, and then you at least you don't overcrowd.
Then bots will try to just bang the close, right? That's the term for trying to just squeeze it into a specific time frame to do a transaction in TradFi. I mean, it's a very difficult problem to solve, man.
You need to combine that with the appropriate pricing mechanism.
For sure.
So you still don't want to be underpriced, but the advantage there is that you don't stall the entire network, right? So your application isn't responsible for everyone having to pay higher prices. You can limit it to your specific contract and limit the other impacts for using the network. Think of the other side, Mint. If they've done something where there's like a gas or cost that's specific to using your contract, right? So maybe price adjust based on activity at the contract level, then at least you move that pricing overhead to the contract specifically, and you don't impact everyone else on the network.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, we'll improve.
Man, GC, Firestorm, put these two together. It's like a just knowledge fest. You guys are dropping so much knowledge on us today, man. GC, can I ask you? Would you ever consider coming back to the CLOB to talk to us some more?
Yeah,
and
sure.
Make my brain grow even bigger and make my hat tighter.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we've touched I think a lot of NFTs, but this whole section that's being built around reputation and credit and with some people called soulbound tokens, I think is big, and just more like ERC20s in general have kind of been left out. There used to be so much innovation there, so lots of good topics to keep on.
Dude, we would love to have you come back and talk some more about all of that. But this has been awesome, man. Let's plan on it. Let's schedule something. We'll get you and Firestorm back in your groove. I want to see you guys really disagree on something and just like go for the throat. That's gonna be fun to watch.
We can make that work.
I've actually seen this person like in real life as well. He's a nice guy. I don't think I'm gonna be able to go at him as hard as I used to, let's say. But we're looking for. I'm looking forward to more disagreements, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. I want to hear them. I want to see it.
I got plenty for you guys, so let's keep that for the next one.